Let's do it. All right, guys. I am excited to be back. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Let me shut Facebook off. Sweet. Yeah, guys, I'm super excited to be back. It's been a bit of a gap in between our last call. I'm going to talk a little bit about the trip to Europe and Africa. It was amazing. And sheesh, we had a great call in the middle with Alex. Alex was amazing from the feedback that I got, and he was grateful. He was nice enough to jump on and fill the gap with the Next Wave group. So really grateful that we had a chance to get a training in the middle for you guys. But honestly, I don't know if you guys have ever traveled to Europe before, but being even 6-7 hours ahead, doing trainings all day, doing meetings, and then trying to find time to do a training like this, it was pretty much impossible. So anyway, I'm home. We're back on a normal schedule. We're going to be doing these calls every 7 to 10 days. I added a bunch of new people to the chat, started to dig deeper into some of the other organizations within my organization, and have a lot of really good people, a lot of people that are working super hard, a lot of people that have been in IML for some of you guys a year, some of you guys 6 months, some of you guys 3 months, some of you guys 2 years, and you deserve to be here. So for everybody who's new, welcome. For everybody who's been here for every single training, appreciate you. But most importantly, you should be proud of yourself because, we're growing. We're learning new things on every single training. And at the end of the day, commitment to growth, commitment to learning, being a sponge, being somebody who's coachable, it's a huge part of becoming successful. And there are a lot of people that are in that group, that Next Wave chairman group, that muted it because, it buzzes one too many times, that aren't here now because maybe for legitimate reasons. I know some of the people here are educating and they couldn't be on the call. But there's some people who just didn't make time for it, and that's fine. It's not mandatory. But I think any time that we have the opportunity to get around people who have results that we want, to get in an environment where we can learn and share information and share new concepts, it's a big chance for us to grow as leaders. And honestly, guys, information is what's going to make you successful. There's this thing that people think it's only the skill sets that you have that make you successful, but that's not true. To be honest, you don't even need to have the best skills. You don't even need to be that skilled to be good at network marketing. I see people in this industry, and that's the beauty of it, to be honest. That's what we're more excited about than anything, is that you don't even need to be that skilled. You don't need to be that talented. You don't need to be that smart. You don't need to be that good of a speaker in order to have success. Actually, if you were to comb through everybody in the industry, a lot of the top earners will tell you they're introverted. A lot of the top earners will tell you they didn't do very well in school. They weren't very, quote, book smart. People in this industry that do very well obtain and share information very well. People that do very well in this industry find tools, like some of the stuff I'm going to share with you guys tonight, and they share those tools or they implement those tools very well. A lot of people who make a lot of money in this industry just decide to work smart instead of hard. And sometimes the people that are book smart end up working a job, working for somebody else, et cetera, and, they get stuck at a capped off job. And then people who take a shot at this industry usually end up making a lot of money if they utilize the tool. So I appreciate you guys for being here. It's exciting for me to be back. And with that being said, there's a bunch of things that I want to talk about. And then I want to get into some training and some stuff that you guys can take back to the team. So first off, we'll talk a little bit about tour. I know you guys are curious, and people always love to hear about it because it's probably on your dream board. It's probably part of your goals to get out and build teams internationally. I remember, my first 3 years in the industry, all I ever wanted to do was find out how all these leaders in the company had teams in Australia. How did you have a team in Sweden? How do you possibly have a team in, you know, Belgium? How does this happen? I can never figure it out. And so I used to sit on social media, surf through the hashtags, try to find people in France. Then I would use Google Translate to try to talk to them and pitch them, and they would never, ever, ever join. And I just couldn't figure it out. And now I've been blessed to have an organization all around the world, have a place to call home, have friends that have become very good friends in dozens and dozens of countries globally. And so Europe is kind of my wheelhouse, my specialty, if you will. It's one of my favorite places to build. And we started off in Spain. We had an amazing event. As you guys know, Ivan Briongos was, when we landed, about 150, 200 people away from Chairman 50. And by the time we left to come home, he had hit Chairman 50. So I know Ivan is not on this call right now, but congrats to Ivan. Ivan's become a great leader, one of my best friends, and super excited. You know, when you see, I mean, the first time we went to Spain to do an event with Ivan, just so you guys understand what's possible with implementation. The first time I went to Europe, it was in May of 2016. Okay. No. Hold on. May of 2017. May of 2017. I went to Europe for the first time, and Ivan Brongos was a Plat 5000. Is a Plat 5000. And now we fast forward, you know, a year and a half later, probably a little bit less than that, a little bit more than a year, and he's a Chairman 50. So really incredible. So we went to Spain, had a great event. Then we went out to Portugal with Andre and the team. Andre is actually 15 orders when we spoke yesterday. I think he's about 10, 15 orders from Plat 5000. Super proud of Andre. We went out to Portugal, myself, Chris, Isis, and Alex, back in October of 2017. So less than 1 year, and Andre was a prospect in the crowd. And right now he's close to Plat 5000 in Portugal, and he'll be Chairman 10 by IML Source Convention, 100%. This kid's a machine. So Andre, I know you're here. Hats off, bro. Congrats. So we went there. Then we went to Sweden, went to Germany. That was amazing. Belgium, with the Belgium squad. A lot of great things happening in Belgium as well. And then took a little break. Guys, I'll tell you right now, Mykonos, Greece is worth everything you guys are doing right now. Like all the grinding, all the trials and tribulations in your business, all the lost trades, all the people that join, all the people that quit, the sleepless nights, the early mornings. When you hit Chairman and you're in Mykonos, Chairman 25, and you're traveling the world with your best friends, and you get to see some really cool stuff and do some really cool things and have some real food, everything is worth it. I promise you, it's all worth it. And you get to post on the gram, and then you get more prospects. So it's all a W. So we had a great time. Then went to Slovenia, Serbia, and then out to Africa. And that was an amazing experience. I will tell you guys right now, I'm not going to talk about the tour too much more because I want to get into some strong content and some things for you guys. But I will tell you, going to Congo, going to Benin, and going to Ivory Coast was exactly what I needed. And it's crazy because I've always built this business with my heart. I've always put the people before the money. I've always tried to make the right decision, even if I didn't know what that decision was going to be. You know, sometimes we get to this fork in the road and we have to make decisions on what we do in certain situations, what we do with certain leaders, what we do at certain times. And I will tell you, going to Africa really showed me that what we're doing has a much bigger purpose than maybe we even understand at this point. And it's not just because the people there are so poor, because they're not. I mean, it's just different. The media and some of where we went, Congo was definitely lower. I think it's the second poorest country in the world. So that was unique because there's a big divide between like the upper class and then everybody else. And it was very humbling. But in the other two countries, they're actually pretty well developed. The average income is still not great, but guys, IML is offering like real, legitimate opportunities that they have never had and that no other company's ever been able to deliver. I met a guy, I had lunch with a guy in Ivory Coast that's making like $7,000 a day trading, or $7,000 that week trading, something like that. And anyway, results not typical. You guys know the deal. But where do they do that at? You know, and so what we're actually bringing to the table is real. And it made me think, like, what if I said no to IML 3 years ago? What if I gave up when a lot of people gave up? Or, you know, what if I was too scared to you know, continue forward in times when things weren't so clear? What if I quit network marketing month 3, 5 years ago, way before IML? You know, and it makes me further believe in the things that I always talk about that create great leaders and that create great success stories. Consistency, commitment, you know, vision, hard work. Because at the end of the day, your decision now may affect someone 4 years from now. And that's, I don't know, that's pretty deep, but it's also very real. And there's people out there that need this opportunity. So it was really humbling, really, really amazing. And today was really my first day back. Finally got caught up. I was in front of a computer for the first time in like a month and a half, which was great. So I got to some emails, some texts, was able to catch up. But I also went down, and I hope you guys saw my video in the IML Elite group. I went Facebook Live from the Broward Convention Center where our event, IML Source, is going to take place. I got a full walkthrough of the venue. So we have the big room downstairs. It's literally massive. I saw the room where Chris's training is going to go down. And I don't know if you guys knew that, but Chris Terry's doing Friday night. So Friday day, we have IML TV Live with all the educators. We have to push super hard to get our customers there, to get our builders there, because we're bringing in the best traders from the company. And if people really want to learn how to trade and they want more of an in-person experience, that event is worth its weight in gold. You have 50, 60 of the best traders, maybe even in the world, in one place and an opportunity to go learn. We have to really, as leaders, like you guys want to go chairman. That's why you're in this group. You guys really want to level up and go hard. Make sure you're not the only person in your team at that event. Make sure that you're one of 20. I had Brandon Hodge. I don't know if Brandon Hodge is on the call right now, but Brandon Hodge messaged me today. He has 22 people from his team already bought tickets, 26 or 22, already confirmed and bought tickets to be at that event. So just make sure you put some emphasis on that. It's going to be really important, guys. But anyway, IML TV Live in the morning. Friday night, Chris Terry is going like super hard. I mean, you guys know I'm very close with Chris. We actually just got off the phone before this, and he is so pumped for his Friday night session. And you guys see the life that he's put into the Night Owls. Type 000 if you guys love the Night Owls and you think Chris is absolutely destroying it, because the feedback I'm getting is like people just love the fact that that's back in the company. I feel like it's raised the tides a little bit, and people are really, really fired up. Yeah, I agree. So, yeah, guys, IML TV Live and Chris's event are going to be huge. And then also going into the main sessions, just the way that we have everything positioned, the layout of the venue, it's going to be amazing. So let's push super hard for IML Soars. Make sure, you know, from my experience, the best thing to do to get people to your team is not to just mass promote, right? Not to just, yes, it's good to copy and paste the messages that me and Brandon Boyd send out periodically throughout the week. That's great. It's great to get people on Sunday 7-figure mentorship calls so the leaders can sell them into the event. But what's even better is if, you know, Matthew is sitting there talking to his personals and talking to his leaders and really emphasizing the importance. If, you know, Ariana is having those conversations, if Kenny is having those conversations with his customers, you know, to make sure that they understand and make sure that the event is properly edified. Because again, The more people you have at those events, the more people that are going to join, the more people that are going to launch, the more people that are going to take your business serious. And all of you guys are here so that people take your business serious. So make sure you do a good job at promoting those events. It was just something that I wanted to plug and talk about because at the end of the day, the leaders who have the most people at big events are the leaders who leave those events with the most momentum. So honestly, from now till then, for me, it's just a game of how many people can I get in the seats. Let the event, they showed me the layout, the stage, oh my God. Just trust me when I tell you guys, just promote the damn event. You'll be so happy that I pushed you that hard to do it because it is not going to be a disappointment. So amazing, Greg, 10 to 20 people from Poland. I mean, look, you got people coming all the way from the other side of the world to be there. If you're here in the States, it's got to do it. Like Dylan Maya, you are like 20 minutes from the event, bro. I already know what you're going to do. So Ronnie, I see you're on here too. So cool. Guys, just so you know as well, hats off to Hua Bui, my personal MVP, sidekick. This guy's a living legend and, you know, doesn't like the credit, but got to give credit where credit's due. He absolutely bodied the new PowerPoint. Type 777 in the chat box if you're ready. Use the PowerPoint if you love the new PowerPoint because I absolutely love the flow. I think it's made everything a lot easier. So Hua, you did an amazing job. Visual representation of the company, insane. And I will address the elephant in the room, whether you guys knew it, I was going to address it or not. I mean, we've been talking about it for a long time, but we're literally now days away. I don't have an exact date. I don't know the exact time frame. I hate promising something and it not coming to fruition. But I will tell you guys, we're like right there. The light is there at the end of the tunnel for the new corporate website. Hua did an amazing job. So when people go to your unique website, you know, bob.imarketslive.com, and then when they just go to imarketslive.com, that corporate website has been redone. It's going to be implemented when the new back office goes live. And we're talking about arm's reach. I mean, we've been talking about being really close. We had a few minor setbacks, and then we're just really taking our time to make sure that everything's right because of the genealogies and the commissions and the auto ships. And there's a lot of moving parts, and we don't just want to launch, even though we want the new back office very, very much, we don't just want to launch it and then have to go backwards. We like going forwards, not back. But all that stuff is super close, and I'll tell you guys right now, it's going to be a whole new chapter. It's going to feel like a new company. I mean, we're going to talk about the old back office, you know, like it was dinosaur ages. So I'm pretty excited for that. But Hua did an amazing job. He also set up my link that Facebook actually blocked for a little while. It's back up. HowCanIStartTrading.com. The video is not on YouTube. It's on a Vimeo link. So you guys, this is a great tool. If you don't like the way that I present, not offended whatsoever. Some people like Alex's style. Some people like Brandon Boyd's style. Some people like David's style. But I created a presentation. I'll probably update it sometime later this week when I get some time, make another version of it. I'm just OCD like that, so I'm sure it's fine. But if I like stutter one time, it's not good enough. So anyway, I was like, "Wow, do people like the presentation?" He's like, "Yeah, man, they love it. There's like 3,000 views." I'm like, "Ah, it's probably not good enough." So anyway, thanks, Lynn. I appreciate you. And for everybody who's using the video, look, my goal is just to help you guys optimize your prospects' perception of IML. That's my goal. I want your prospects to see what we do, fall in love right away, and always be in love, you know, with what we do. So that's really exciting, and I'm glad you guys are using the video. HowCanIStartTrading.com. There's no YouTube. There's no bald guy, Ethan Vanderbilt, you know, talking out of his ass. This is like real good video, no garbage. Definitely use it. It's a great tool. Also, we put up the Getting Started course in the back office for when new people join the business, because we want everybody in the company to tick on the same clock, right? At the same second, the same minute, the same hour. We want everybody to be marching to the same beat, right? Because duplication is ultimately the key to success. And so it's not about what works ever, but it's about what duplicates. And, you know, we put up that course. Zach Hogan did a really good job. It's very easy to understand that it'll segue people from that course to the right mindset and not just coming into IML thinking that you can just get on swipe trades and become a millionaire, just get on the web analyzer, become a millionaire, just get on a harmonic scanner, become a millionaire. Because let's be honest, when people present, they boost, they hype, they overhype, they overboost, they get people fired up. But it's not about just getting people in the system. It's about getting people in the system and keeping them in the system. And so I'm big on the under promise, over deliver aspect. And I really just want people to join and fall in love with the process. I don't like when, people come in, they join and then they quit. What's the point? It's a waste of time. Go do direct sales, go sell expensive stuff that nobody needs. So at least, you get your money. But if you want to build something long-term, that's why we created that course. But the problem is when they uploaded it, for me, I can only see one video. And then they told me today it was fixed. And personally, I don't know if I have to clear my cookies or whatever. But if you guys can log in maybe right now while we're on here and just tell me if you can see the rest of the Getting Started course. Because for me, I can only load video 1, but they told me it was fixed, the programmers. Okay, so you can see it now. Okay. Well, need to refresh the page. All right, cool. Well, at least it's up there. It's less important for me, but most importantly for everybody else. So, sweet. So that stuff's out of the way. I wanted to talk about a couple things. So, look, one of the things that I talked about when I was in Europe to a lot of the leaders and a lot of the different groups is how important the follow-up is in our business, and it's not just about what we know, because some of you guys are already on this, but it's also about what we're teaching our teams. And look, at the end of the day, your team has to view you as a mentor, right? Even if you don't think that you're a mentor, a mentor is simply somebody who is a step above somebody else in knowledge, wisdom, and experience. So you guys will view me as a mentor, but then I go to another room and I have mentors. So it's not like, I think some people get this idea that if they're a mentor, they're a guru, they're the best ever, they made it, they're untouchable, they're this, that. No. To somebody, you're a mentor because you have knowledge, wisdom, and experience that they don't have. And, I really got a chance being on probably 80 hours of planes to just do a lot of reflecting and understanding and conceptualizing and just getting deeper into thought and, just trying to figure out how I can help you guys have breakthroughs. And to be honest, a lot of the breakthroughs happen up here. They don't happen in home events. They don't happen in prospecting on Facebook or Instagram. They don't happen, because you signed up a big leader. Big leaders sign up all the time. It doesn't mean that they're going to do anything, right? The breakthroughs have to happen mentally. And when they happen mentally, it seems like everything in your business just starts to go in the right direction. So I'm drawn to believe that 99% of this is a psychological thing. But and one of the things that I thought about is that we have to understand our role as a mentor, right? As a mentor, we don't need to know everything, but we need to be able to help our people. We need to be able to teach and to bring the people in our organization to the next level, which is the reason why I have this group, right? I want you guys to understand and some of you guys have already heard me talk about this, but also as a reminder, and then for some of the people that are new, why a group like this is so important when I can just do a training once a week for everybody in the team and have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people on it. The reason I do this is because I specifically pinpointed the people that I believe are the present and future leaders in our organization, but also in the company. And I'd rather empower you guys to go be the mentor so that your team looks at you and says, Cal's my mentor. And Cal was mentored by, right? Max is my mentor, but Max was mentored by. At some point, you realize as a leader that the spotlight, for lack of better words, because I don't have a better word to use, that the spotlight is bullshit. To be honest, it's not really all it's chalked up to be. And for some people, they need the spotlight. They need to be the leader on the banner every time, the leader on the flyer every time, the leader at convention, every convention for the next 47 years with the best keynote and the best suit and the best this and the best that. And honestly, for me, it's a little bit different. I just want to be the guy sitting there happy because all of you guys are being recognized as, crossing the stage as chairman 25, chairman 50, P5000, whatever it is. So as a leader, we learn to become more facilitative than dictative. And this is a hard transition for a lot of people to make. There's a leader in my team who is one of my closest friends in the business. And I'm going to try to I'll keep it anonymous and you guys won't know if it's a guy or a girl, where they're from, whatever. But probably could have been Chairman 100 right now today. But instead of eating themselves alive, and I mean, they're still maintaining a good rank, but just could be so much further. And it's because they're not facilitating. They're dictating, right? If you do one thing that goes against their way, or you have one idea that's different than their idea, or you try to walk outside of the train tracks, they just snipe you. They just snipe your head off. It's like unruly. I mean, some of the things that I see, it's like unbelievable. And I see leaders do this a lot, but they sabotage their own success. And I want you guys to really think about that, right? I see a lot of head shaking and not even everybody has their camera on, but I want you guys to think about if you, and be conscious about this, step outside, because I really don't think anybody here, I'm looking at the list of people, and I don't think anybody here is in that category at all, being real, being honest. But I want you guys to sit and think about, have there been times where my decisions have sabotaged my success? My emotions have sabotaged my success. My need for a breakthrough, right? My need for gratification, my urgency to make more money, the pressure from my relationship, the pressure from my family. Has that sabotaged a meeting that you had? Has that sabotaged a prospect that you've had? Has that sabotaged momentum? Has that sabotaged the team? So that dictator versus facilitator thing, right, is really big to think about. And taking the role of a mentor, really important, really important. But at the end of the day, as a mentor, you have to understand that Yoda could still pick up the lightsaber and kick some ass when he needed to. And so you guys, as leaders, have to realize that being a mentor doesn't mean that you're immediately out of the game and you're just, okay, here's my social media strategy, here's where I post, or hey, here's my trading strategy, or hey, here's how you do events, here's how you do 3-ways, all right, guys, I have 3 legs, go have fun, push me to Chairman 100. You got to be ready to pick up the weapon and go to battle as well, because your team is not going to respond well. Pay attention to this. This is big. Your team is not going to respond well to this, right? Eric, you should be grinding harder, bro. Dylan, you should be grinding harder. Matt Green, why aren't you chairman already? Whatever. Your team is not going to respond well to this. Your team responds well to you being in the trenches with them, right? Your team responds well to you being shoulder to shoulder with them, to you answering their messages in a timely manner, right? With exceptions to certain things. But your team's going to respond well. Your leaders are going to respond well when they still feel like you're a human being, that you're the human being that they join. Because so many times I'll see people join somebody and then within 3 to 6 months, they absolutely hate that person because that person did everything they could do. They put on every smile. They did every major webinar. They worked hard to get the person in the business. But once the person was in the business, then the chase was over and the magic was gone. All that stuff was gone. And now you have somebody who's super passionate but has no upline or an upline they don't like. So think about, our role as a mentor and how important it is for us as the leaders to be facilitators. So now let's go back to the follow-up, okay? So one of the things that I was teaching is that, first off, we have to be doing events. So let me say this before I go into the follow-up thing, because if not, it'll be kind of reversed, and it'll be more effective if I talk about production. Guys, production at the end of the day trumps all, right? Sometimes people get analysis paralysis, game plan paralysis. I believe tonight in Philly, I see Rayat and Eric, who, by the way, are cross lines that did an event together tonight. What's up, boys? I believe they had an event tonight in Philly. I'm pretty sure, and I think Emery was there as well. So I think they did an event tonight. And at the end of the day, the action steps, events, three-way calls, Zooms, webinars, sharing howcanistarttrading.com, eyeballs to the presentation, that's where we make our money. We don't make our money drawing our game plans on whiteboards. We don't make our money having 15 dream boards across the walls in our bedroom, even though that stuff's important. I'm not discrediting it, but some people think you can put up 15 dream boards and hit Chairman 100. Doesn't work that way, okay? You can't take your team to pottery class and have team bonding and hit Chairman 100. It doesn't work like that, all right? You gotta work the business a little bit. Just, every once in a while, you got to call your upline for a three-way call. Every once in a while, you have to have a meeting. Every once in a while, you got to get in front of some prospects. This is how we have success. And what I would say from now until convention is, for those of you who are, that's right, IPAs. For those of you who are P2000 pushing P5, P5 pushing Chairman 10, P1, knowing that you can hit P5 by convention, the first thing I would say is your teams locally. What can you do? What are you already doing? Maybe some of you guys are already doing this, but what are you already doing to get consistent momentum from now till convention, right? So are you putting together one trading night and one prospecting event per week live? Are you maybe, and then for those of you who have teams out and about, like I know Rayad has a team in Bangladesh. I know Matt Green has a team in Canada. Stefano has teams all over the place. David Morris has teams all over the place. AWOL, I'm just looking at a few names here, but I know some of you guys do have international teams. Travel. Can you travel? Can you put together an event? Can you plan something? What can you do from now till convention that is out of your comfort zone, right? And I want you guys to think about this. Now, it may not mean that you have to fly to Bangladesh. That might not be possible to go international at this moment in time. But maybe you could put some, from now till then, you could do a 30, 60, 90-day sprint and give your team internationally a goal that at the end of 90 days, if they reach that goal, you're going to go. After you go, another leader's going to go. And then maybe Jason goes, or Matt goes, or Austin goes, or Alex Morton goes, right? Guys, be smart about the way that we start to promote and gain momentum, because momentum is easy to come by if you're building from event to event to event. But I also want to remind you guys that closed mouths don't get fed. I'll give you an example. Ardian, Sefa, I don't think Ardian's on here. Maybe it's very late over there, so honestly don't mind if he's not here. No, he's not on. But Ardian, I believe, is still in Kosovo. But he put together an event he said, listen, if I promise you 200 people in a room in Kosovo, 200 prospects in a room in Kosovo, he said, will you add another day to your tour? I said, you know what? You're crazy enough to do that, then I'm crazy enough to extend the tour one more day. I'm down. So I was already in Europe. Kosovo's next to Serbia. I booked another day to be out there. And he put 200 prospects in the room. Who does that? There's not even a team there. It's incredible. To be honest, I figured I'd show up and 50 people would come, and then I could just ignore Ardian forever. No, just kidding. But I'm super proud of him, And so, but closed mouths don't get fed. Guys, you can't expect for people to do things for you. But if you don't ask, I'll tell you what you can expect. You expect nothing to happen. You know, if you don't start asking for things, then absolutely nothing's going to happen. If you don't start to ask your upline to do three-way calls, or, you know, sometimes people will say these things to me. They'll throw me and Matt in a group chat or say to me, hey, bro, you know, haven't had you on a team training in like 8 months. You know, can you do it? And I'm like, dude, I do one like every month. I mean, what do you think we do? How do you think I'm going to keep paying for this penthouse? Sit around and play video games all day? I haven't touched my PlayStation in like 3 months. Not interested. So, you know, you can't expect for things to happen unless you ask for things. And here's the thing. When I ask for things and I get a no, I'm cool with it, right? Sometimes I'll ask Alex, you know, because I don't really have an upline that I work with. My upline's basically Alex and Chris Terry in a sense. And so I'll ask Alex, hey, bro, you think you can get on this call for me? Yeah, I got you. Hey, you think you can go out here? I don't know if I can make it. Cool. No big deal. But if you don't ask, you don't get. So think about that, guys. You start to think about ways that your team can be set on fire. This is what we have to do. So events, three-way calls, Zoom meetings, like what are you doing now till convention to make sure that your goals are met and then the team's goals are met? We need a culture of rank advancements to come back to the forefront, right? It was like super build. Then everybody seems like they took a step back. They wanted to trade, all these new tools, web analyzer, cool, cute. Everybody here wants to also make money residually and want to rank up. So, you know, look, at the end of the day, for the next 30 days, there's a lot of you who I know are super close to hitting the next rank. There's a lot of you here that I know can easily smash P5 by convention. There's a lot of you here that I know can easily smash chairman by convention, but you got to take the IPAs, you got to take the meetings, the three-way calls, all that stuff to the next level, and you have to facilitate those through your team, not dictate them, right? You can't tell your team, all right, guys, time to do more three-way calls. You get next to your team. You get next to your leader, shoulder to shoulder, and you say, hey, look, Faustin, let's do so. Let's really get in the trenches this month. You know, let's get on some team calls. Let's find out who – see the word that I'm using? Let's. Instead of saying, Ricky, why don't you do more calls? You know, Lynn, why don't you do more calls? Why don't you be more productive? Why don't you do more events? Then as a leader, what I would say is, hey, let's do it. It goes from here to here. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. That concept alone, that philosophy of not talking to the leaders, but talking with them, right? Like put your arm around them and say, look, like show them we're together in this. I'm in the trenches with you. Guys, it's so powerful. It's so powerful in your business. It makes a big difference. So here's the thing. You're doing events. You're doing three-way calls. You're doing all this stuff. Where a lot of people lose is in the follow-up. I guarantee that the company could probably be double the size if people were great at following up. And this is every sales organization, every network marketing company, everything in the world rises and falls on the follow-up, and we're not bad at it, but I mean, you could just always be better at the following up. Where did I put my water? There's like a missing. Oh, it's over there. How did it get over there? That's interesting. So anyway, the follow-up. So one of the things that I was telling people, especially when you do events, right? You do an event in your team, or you do an event in your local area, whatever. This is huge, but you can also use this for your three-ways, use this for your Starbucks meetings, your one-on-ones. But I like this concept. After the meeting, you can even do this after your Zoom webinars, right? And teach, not just you guys do it, but bring this back to your team. When you're coaching the newest people, implement this strategy. Believe me, if we could have everybody in IML doing this, we're going to have a lot better results a lot faster. So after the meeting, after the presentation, I'm shooting a text. And I'm just going to say it out loud. There is no script. I know some of you guys are going to ask me for a script. So if one of you guys can try to jot this down, whatever, and then share it with the group, great. But after the presentation, I would wait typically like 2 hours because for a few reasons. Number one, if it's a physical presentation, they're probably in the car driving home. So I wouldn't want somebody to potentially text me back half effort because they're still driving, right? That makes sense. I would want to wait a few hours, then shoot the text. Number one, because you don't want people to think that you're desperate. You don't want people to think like that you're super clingy too. You know, if you just left a date, right? You're on a date and you just left the date, and the minute you leave the date, you're already texting like 15 times like, hey, miss you already. Great to see you. Can't wait to see you again. It's like, all right, you know, you're a stage 5 clinger. So we don't want our prospects to think that we are stage 5 clingers, right? That's not good because they're going to associate, all joking aside, because I know everybody here, you know, the dating world is crazy and it is funny, but it is true. Like some people are so desperate for that sign up that they actually scare people away, not even because of the money, but it's like, oh my God, is this person going to text me nonstop all the time to make sure that I join their thing? It could be a turnoff. So I like to wait 2 to 3 hours, and then I'll shoot this message, okay? The message will say something along some type of gratitude. So, hey, Kevin, honestly, just wanted to say I really appreciate you. Like those words, I appreciate you, are gold. They're gold. Straight up, okay? They're like, yeah, they're like super gold. So, look, hey, Kevin, just wanted to say I really appreciate you for making time to come to the meeting, to get on the Zoom tonight, to come to the presentation. Hold on one second, guys. I'm just going to blow my nose real quick. All right, back in action. Sorry, I just didn't want to do that. So anyway, hey, Kevin, look, I really appreciate you for taking time to come out to tonight's meeting, or taking time to get on the Zoom call, or taking time to get on that 3-way with Ricky, you know, whatever it is. I just really appreciate you because I know how valuable time is. Or something like that. And say, look, I hope you enjoyed it. And or say something along the lines of, I hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait to hear your feedback. See, that's good because you're like anticipating, you're assuming the feedback. Can't wait to hear what part you like the most is even better because you're assuming that they like something. So can't wait to hear what you like the most. And can't wait to hear about what you like the most, something like that. When can we meet for coffee? When or what time? Even better, if it's local, what time tomorrow can we meet for 30 minutes to game plan? What time tomorrow can we grab a bite to eat for 30 minutes to an hour to game plan? What day this week can you meet up so we can go over everything? You want to get the follow-up booked immediately because when the water is hot, the water is hot. You don't boil spaghetti in cold water. And when the water's boiling, you throw the pasta in there and you go. But when it's done boiling, it goes back to being room temperature water. Does it make sense? So when the person sees the information, thank you, Kwa. When the person sees the information, that was a trick, by the way. That was a trick because I figured a bunch of you guys would write it down. Maybe only Kwa did it. I don't know. But anyway, thanks, Kwa. So the point is, when the information's hot, it's still the details are still gonna be hot, right? They're gonna remember maybe some of the products that stood out. Some people wait, you know, a day, 2 days, 3 days for the follow-up, and then they kind of lose that spark. And at the end of the day, you want the person to be hooked into another meeting. So even what I do is I will book the meeting. This is another tactic, a variation that you guys can use. But I would even book the follow-up inside of the meeting and then confirm the follow-up in the text. What is this? Hold on. Oh, someone's blowing me up. Sorry, I forgot to close WhatsApp. So confirm the follow-up meeting in the text. So something along the lines of, Let's see, where's Hua script? Hey, Kevin, honestly, just want to say I really appreciate you for making time to come to the meeting, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Look, I hope you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to hear your feedback or hear which part you like the most. Just to confirm, that's simple. Just to confirm, we're meeting at Chipotle tomorrow, 1:30. Can't wait to see you there. You know, by the way, meals on me. See that if you can budget, you know, $20 a week into buying coffee, Chipotle is probably $20, so you can only have one presentation, right? But, you know, if you can budget some of those things into the physical meetings, that's great, you know, because, look, if I wasn't even interested and Hua said, hey, bro, you know, let's meet up next week, Chipotle on me, I'm like, damn, I don't care what you're selling. I'm in. Let's do it. You know, hey, McDonald's dollar menu on me. I think you're trying to kill me, you know, but whatever. At least it's a nice gesture. So, you know, the point is, here's the thing. When you put somebody into a sales presentation, it doesn't matter if they're your best friend, random person on social media, your cousin, your mom, your aunt, your dog, your cat, your babysitter. There is still just something weird to most people about being in a sales pitch. Call it what it is. So at the end of the day, as soon as they know that they're being pitched something, it makes them feel way better if you can take them out of that environment back to an intimate environment, back to a personal environment to do the follow-up. One of the things that I realized is that, look, guys, it is super, super, super effective if you can bounce back and forth between your exposures. So if my first exposure to Brittany was a big event because a big leader was in town, my next exposure, maybe my next 2 exposures, would be a lot more subtle, right? My next exposure would be a 3-way call with an upline who has a success story, or a 3-way call with a trader who has a success story. Maybe my next exposure would be a medium-sized group. And it's also good to know your prospects, right? It's also good to know who you're talking to, because at a time where Gabby may love, right? You might have Gabby and Delia, who just are 2 people who just love being in a huge party environment. They love being around people. They absolutely love going to big events. Then I would focus on making sure that if I was prospecting Delia and Gabby, that I would get them to all the big events that we had until they made a decision. But maybe then at the same time, you have Dylan and Tim, who are more introverted. They don't like going to big meetings at all. They don't, you know, they just want to have more of a personal thing. Then I would lean more towards having my follow-ups be what they want. I mean, if you guys can understand the language that your prospects speak and understand what makes the people excited, every single person has a trigger point, right? I'm telling you right now, you give me enough time with any prospect, I don't care what you guys think, I can crack them, like for sure. Because I just understand that everybody has a language that they like to speak. Now, is everybody worth trying to crack? Hell no. Everybody can be cracked though, 100%. Everybody has a trigger. Everybody has a language. Everybody has an environment, an energy, something that can get them to see the vision. So we just have to be good at the follow-up. And I'm thinking about all the things we could talk about, but at the end of the day, this is the most important part of the business, is following up. Guys, I've had people do massive events with 700, 800, 1,000, 2,000 people, and nobody signs up. And I'm like, that's not possible. I saw the video replay, and there's like 1,000 people jumping up and down, screaming, yelling, but nobody joined the business. It's only because the follow-up. So if we can improve how we follow up, how we think about the follow-up, but not only that, guys, you as mentors, going to your groups, going to your leaders, and sharing these concepts with them, sharing these ideas about the follow-up, sharing, some of these thoughts, I think could be really powerful. And then maybe what you do is what I always do. Get off this call and go Google, the 7, steps to following up, the secrets to following up, right? Understanding that following up is such a big thing. Don't just take what I have to teach as the end all, but go out and research how you can become. I'm telling you right now, if you could become a guru at following up, you could teach your team how to become great at following up. Your team is going to explode, number one. But here's the secret sauce to following up that I wanted to end this call with. Following up is not just about this is like deep thought, okay? This is real though. Following up is not just about getting your leaders in the business. Just getting your prospects in the business. The follow-up happens forever. When they're in the business, you follow up in a different way. When your customers are in the business, you're following up with them. Hey, hey, Ariel, how's everything going? It's your first week in IML. Super excited. Are you on track? Is there anything you need help with? That's a follow-up. Guys, me doing this call tonight is me following up with the leaders. Everything is a constant follow-up at the end of the day. And so whether it's just following up to communicate and build relationships, or it's following up to get them to an event, at the end of the day, the fortune is always going to be following up and following through with your promises. That's another big one, because the killer of all is the overpromise and the underdeliver, or in some cases, the promise and no delivery, right? Like we're living in a third world country. You order a package and it never comes. And that's what happens a lot of the times. People will talk, say whatever they can say, do whatever they can do to get somebody to join. And then at the end of the day, nothing ever gets delivered. And we don't want to do that either. We don't want that reputation. So just remember to keep the fortune focused on the follow-up. I appreciate you guys big time. I'm super excited about everything. We're working on some major new products. We've got some really good ideas and some things that I think are going to put IML in a different category. We're creating some different communication channels. I see a lot of the pros of what we're doing, but I'm also seeing some of the cons, some of the holes, some of the loopholes. Because listen, at the end of the day, we're dealing with human beings, and human beings are always going to find gaps and loopholes and ways that they can take advantage. And so we found a lot of areas and listened to a lot of feedback. And I would say there's 4 major product/projects being worked on in the background that nobody really is aware of besides a few people, the developmental teams. We're going to have some good surprises to roll out at convention for sure, as far as new products are concerned. And, I'm telling you, IML, and I'll end it with this. IML, when I first started, is absolutely nothing like IML is today. And IML in 2 years from now is going to be even 50 times better than it is right now. And it's hard for some people to understand long-term vision. I mean, there were leaders on this call 2 months ago. Long-term vision, I'm all in, I'm going chairman, and a month later, they're selling shampoo with their grandma. Just some people can't understand. I'm not even joking. Or selling some other stuff. Some people cannot understand long-term vision, and that's fine. But for the people that can, guys, there's a lot of money to be made, and there's a lot. Yeah, it's tragic. I agree with you. So we'll pray for them. That's all we can do. Just say a prayer, moment of silence. So at the end of the day, just have that vision. Just understand that the people who really put in the most time, the people that really invest, the people that are really, committed and strong in this moment right now are going to be the ones that make the big money long term. I mean, that's just where we got to leave it. The last thing too that I will say is this: there's a bunch of compliance stuff going down. If you guys see people posting on social media, some people are like, well, we get some people that say, well, there's chairmen that are doing it. Why can't we do it? It's not. That's like saying, well, that guy is selling weed. Why can't I do it? That's not how the law works. The law is there, and then the people that break it, we go out and we find them. and then we tell them don't break the law or we put them in jail. That's just because somebody's doing something doesn't mean that it's right. The rules are the rules. So one thing that you guys can do, and a lot of you here have actually been amazing at this, is if you see something on Instagram, on Facebook, help us, right? Take a screenshot, collect as much information as possible, and send an email to compliance@imarketslive.com. If there's any type of cross-recruiting, people selling signals, people doing things they shouldn't be doing, send all that information to compliance@imarketslive.com. We have a team. Troy Dooley is actually now full-time iMarkets Live. He's dealing with a lot of the cross-recruiting cases. He's actually doing an amazing job, which is great for me. I can actually sleep at night now and not have to play good cop, bad cop at the same time. And there's a lot of great progress being made. And so, yes, you can post on social media. Just don't be ignorant. Oh, yeah, Forex paid for my penthouse. Forex paid for my Rolex. IML paid for this. IML paid for that. Blah, 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 blah. And I agree. Posting profits is probably the reason why a lot of us are here. I get it. But the FTC doesn't like it. The CFTC doesn't like it. And right now, both of them like us, and we want to keep it that way. Trust me when I tell you. We want to protect the house. At the end of the day, I'd rather have some rules that everybody hates than no company at all. And we have no problems. We're not in jeopardy. The company's in an amazing place, and it's going to stay there. I'm telling you right now, we're not going to walk the fine line and let people do things just so we can make more money. I'd rather grow a little bit slower and be here in 20 years and watch all the other companies that use this hype marketing. Guys, there's other Forex companies out there that are using hype marketing. They're promoting illegal products. They're going to be there for maybe a year, maybe 6 months, and then regulation shuts them down, or people are going to move to the next shiny object. I've been around this for a long time. Believe me when I tell you, I've made almost $4 million with Matt in iMarkets Live. I want you guys to have the same thing, but you don't do this by posting. Go look at my social media. You ever see me post trading, profits, boasting, bragging? Somebody could go to my Instagram and not know if I make $10 a month or $10 million a month, but I still get leads every day. I have some of the biggest leaders in the company contacted me. There is a right way to do attraction marketing, social media marketing without posting profits. Give value, position yourself as a leader, and then posting pips, posting profits, it won't matter. If you're the strongest leader in somebody's Facebook, Instagram feed and you build enough credibility over time, they're going to do whatever it takes to learn from you anyway. It goes back to having that mindset of being a mentor. Just be a mentor. Be a facilitator. Give enough value that people can't wait till you post on social media, and then you won't have a problem with prospects. You'll have an ever-thriving business. And remember, once again, your team's not going to do what works. They're going to do what duplicates. They're going to do what you do. So if you set the right example, your team will set the right example as well. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. I'm going to get this recording up on the YouTube channel ASAP. HowCanIStartTrading.com. Use it. Let's go. See you in convention. Make sure you have your tickets. Promote it. Get your team there. Can't wait. Fired up. Let's go. See you guys soon.